record questions on notice to ministers for oral replies where for ministries took questions. The House will resume its deliberations shortly. My name is Chugondi Manjawira. Stay tuned.
Suspending the House, we had the Honourable Member for Zombali Kanga on the floor asking a question to the Honourable Minister of Education. Zombali Kanga.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. I rise to confirm question number 63, that is indeed coming from the people of Zombali Kangala. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Zombali Kanga, Honourable Minister of Education.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and good afternoon. Indeed, I have a question to the Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education, and let me thank you for allowing me to address it. appreciate Honorable Member, my sister, who is representing the people of Zomba Likangala, who is asking my ministry to construct additional school blocks to accommodate the growing student population in the following schools: Mbindi Primary, Lomoni Primary, Kachulu Primary, but also to provide desks to ensure every student has a comfortable or conducive learning environment in order to reduce dropout rates. Madam Speaker, allow me to sincerely thank the Honourable Member once again for her pertinent question. My ministry, Madam Speaker, is aware that Mbindi, Lomoni, and Kachulu primary schools are in need of additional classroom blocks due to high classroom pupil ratios. Mbindi has an enrollment of 913 against 9 permanent classrooms, indicating a classroom pupil ratio of 1 to 101. Lomoni has an enrollment of 816 against 6 permanent classrooms, indicating a classroom pupil ratio of 1 to 136. And Kachulu has an enrollment of 1,072 against 6 permanent classrooms, indicating a classroom pupil ratio of 1 against 107. All these ratios are outside and beyond the acceptable classroom pupil ratio of 1 to 60, Madam Speaker. May I also update the Honourable Member that Kachulu Primary School benefited 2 classroom blocks, which equates to 4 classrooms from the Malawi Education Program we call MERP. My ministry will continue to lobby for more support to construct additional classroom blocks to support schools with high classroom pupil ratios, including the ones in the Honourable Member's constituency. May I request that the Honourable Member for Zomba Likangala also present these issues to Zomba District Council so that the other schools that we have not attended to could benefit from local development fund. Madam Speaker, my ministry is also aware that Mbindi, Lomoni, and Kachulu primary schools are in dire need of classroom desks, considering the given enrollments. Statistics show that in these schools, learners learn under very unfavorable and demotivating conditions without the needed desks. Madam Speaker, my ministry procures and supplies desks to schools every financial year. But the deficit is huge because there's a very big gap, and it's really challenging to meet the gap immediately. I'm positive that some of these schools will benefit from the 2024-25 financial year procurement of desks. May I request the Honourable Member to also present this issue to Zomba District Council, where some of the schools may benefit from the Local Development Fund. I submit and thank you, Madam Speaker.
Much Honourable Minister of Education, Machinga North.
Thank you very much, Right Honourable Madam Speaker, for recognizing the people of Machinga North East to ask a supplementary question to the Minister of Education. First of all, through you, Madam Speaker, let me thank her ministry that my constituency has benefited on the MEREP classrooms like Matope, Namasika, Nkawiriweta, Chiunda, Marundani, Nandembo, Kayuni, Nampina, and Sakalu. My question will dwell on the last question on providing basics. The Minister, thank you very much that you have added a lot of classes within my constituency. But the challenge is that in most of these schools, the one I've listed, literally there is no basics. Challenges comes when there is manable examinations. To see today students bringing tables and chairs from their homes. Would you please assist the schools I have mentioned in my constituency with desks, but also there is the other schools where literally there is not even a single staff house, like Nsakalu, Nsuka, Kawina, Nampina, and Nkwakwata. Thank you very much, Right Honorable Madam Speaker, for allowing the people of Machinga Northeast to put up a question to the Minister. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Machinga Northeast. Honorable Minister of Education.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, for allowing me to tackle a supplementary question from the people of Machinga Northeast. Also, I would also like to thank the representative from Machinga Northeast for that supplementary question to the Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education. The honourable member would want to be considered for, I think the question is really for desks, but he started to acknowledge the assistance that his constituency, Machinga Northeast, has benefited. The honourable member did indicate that Machinga Northeast has benefited in more than 6 schools receiving classroom blocks in this administration, in the Chakwera administration, and that is really commendable. That shows that this administration is really walking the talk. The gap in infrastructure and in furniture is really glaring, Madam Speaker, but we are addressing those gaps. So thank you that you would acknowledge the fact that you've received a lot of blocks, the ones that are being constructed across the country, so that our children have conducive learning spaces. On the issue of desks, Madam Speaker, the one that he mentions, that is a challenge because in most schools where those desks are not available, the learners are having to maybe borrow furniture from home, or in other cases, I know from experience from other schools to write examination. That is an unfortunate issue, Madam Speaker. But it is what I'm saying, that we have a history of a big deficiency of this furniture, and which we are trying to cover, but it's not going, it's something that we may not cover immediately, to be honest. So let me just assure the honourable member that I've taken note of the request, but also just to share with the honourable member and the August House, like I did, I think in my past pronouncements, that I did visit a school in Kasungu North constituency, where the school has actually procured desks using school development fund. And this is something that I would also want to implore on honourable members to emulate, because we may not be able to attend to all the schools that need this desk, but I have taken note of the request. And I know that now that we've constructed these classroom blocks, we are also now seemingly bringing in some gaps, but we are also thankful that UNICEF is helping us in most of these schools to furnish them, and I'm hoping that the honourable member can also maybe benefit from UNICEF to have some of these blocks furnished. The honourable member also did mention of staff houses in some of the schools, i.e. Tawina and Impina. Indeed, this is a challenge, Madam Speaker. Just like most of our schools do not have the minimum infrastructure package that makes them, to be standard as a school. This is another challenge that we have in the Ministry of Education. I'm glad to report that we have a budget in the next financial year, which is going to start to address a shortage of teachers' houses under the Chakwera administration. But also, I just also want to say to the House that in some constituencies, I, for one, I know we are also trying to address the issue by and by in a little way by using constituency development fund. I, for one, have constructed a lot of houses through community assistance for our teachers, because the gap there is also so huge. So government alone may not be able to address this issue immediately, but there are funds in the budget that will start addressing this issue, and we will consider the honourable member at the right time. I submit, Right Honourable Speaker.
Honourable Minister, Dowa Central, then Machinga East.
Thank you very much, Right Honourable Speaker, for giving me space on a supplementary question to the Minister of Basic Education. But before I do that, Madam Speaker, let me thank you so much for reminding us that today is an International Happy Day. I know most of us were not aware, and we are going to make use of this day, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, my supplementary is mainly focusing on the shortage of desks in many of our schools. This situation, Madam Speaker, has even affected the people of our Central, because most of our schools in Ponatu, Namwiri, Senga, Sidze, Chilima, Jakala, Kamwana, Diliro, and Mkamanga, most of these schools, learners, when sitting for their primary school leaving certificate of education, they sit on the floor. And the situation, Madam Speaker, is so big. Now my question is, as we are appreciating the construction of merit schools, which my constituency has also benefited, about 13 classroom blocks, I wanted to ask the Ministry of Education if it has ever considered developing a policy that when development partners are supporting construction of school blocks, they should also include the purchasing of desks in those school blocks, so that at least in a way we can try to avert the problem. Because the ministry alone cannot manage to procure desks for all the schools. As a result, we may always end up giving our learners a raw deal, because the learning environment is not conducive in the absence of desks, mainly if we are indeed to achieve the promotion of the girl child to education. Thank you so much, Madam Speaker, for giving me space.
Thank you, Dowa Central. Honourable Minister.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker, for allowing me to take a supplementary question from the people of Dowa Central. And let me also appreciate the people of Dowa Central for their supplementary question, which hinges on the shortage of desks. The honourable member is really concerned with that in the constituency. In some of the schools that he mentioned, i.e. Chilima, Biriro, Kamwana, he mentioned a lot. There's a dire need for desks. Madam Speaker, when I took the question before this one, I already alluded to the fact that in the past administrations, I'm going to be honest, these things were not handled. And as there is, and the population has also grown a lot. And we have a huge deficit of desks, which we are trying to address. But Madam Speaker, let me go to also the way he posed the question to ask if there is now a deliberate policy, now that we are constructing for the first time, now that government is constructing classroom blocks, and he has received 26 of those in his constituency, to have a policy also with partners where they can construct the blocks, but also provide desks. My answer to this question, Right Honourable Speaker, is that at the moment we are looking at the deficit of classrooms, because the need is dire. We also have development partners that are helping us with desks, but the policy is not going hand in hand. But as government, we are looking outside what we get from a procurement, which is not sufficient, but also what we get from partners outside to develop a policy whereby we can start to address this issue of desks. I cannot divulge much now, Madam Speaker, because we're still at a concept level, or so at some point I'll be able to share this, but I know and I'm aware, and it saddens me, that the issue of desk is a serious one. And this is why I even went further to say where we can, using Community Development Fund, which the president did increase substantially, we must also try to tackle this issue as opposed to just waiting for central government to procure. When I went to Kasungu North on Monday, I was told that they have managed now to furnish 4 or more classroom blocks using community development, using CDF plus school development fund to the tune of 12 million. Maybe sometimes we're thinking to buy those desks, it's so costly. Yes, it is costly, but there is a gentleman, i.e. in Kasungu, who is making this desk, which seats 2 students, at 60,000 kwacha per unit. And I think by and by, if we use these funds and maybe also go into the LDF, we can start addressing some of these furniture challenges in our constituencies. But Honorable Member for Doa Central, also be assured that your issue has been taken on board. And also, if you have ideas that you feel you can bring forward to the Ministry of Education on how best maybe we can innovatively resolve this glaring challenge, feel free to see me so that together we can plan as we are looking into a policy or a concept where we can innovatively mitigate the challenge of furniture in our schools. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. Cholo Central is a point of order. Machinga East.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. With due respect to the Honorable Minister, is it in order to really bring information in this House? A number of times she repeats to say the previous governments did not buy desks in schools without her giving figures of the school blocks they have constructed now. That includes furniture. Because if they have constructed classroom blocks, that doesn't include furniture. That does not speak to the policy that she's talking about. All the school classroom blocks that are being constructed now, even if she gives a number of 1,000, none of that is accompanied with furniture. Therefore, nothing is happening on the ground. The point is rapid population growth. As a result, there is huge demand for both classroom blocks as well as furniture. Than to politicize to say previous governments when there's nothing that they are doing on the ground. They are constructing classroom blocks without furniture itself, and then the next government will still come and say the previous government, meaning the MCP government, did not do it. Let's call this a spade a spade. Rapid population growth versus demand that we have, we cannot at the moment, and we must find other ways of putting furniture in classroom blocks. I submit, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Member for Cholo Central. Machinga East.
Madam Speaker, first is to thank you for giving me the floor to ask a question to the Honorable Minister responsible for basic and secondary education. My question, Madam Speaker, is to do with the contract which was given to a contractor who does not have a capacity to construct a school block in my constituency under ECO's project. Since 2023, Madam, up to now, we are failing to utilize the facility because it's unfinished. When I tried to contact the contractor, he's saying that he doesn't have resources to finish the school block. So my question to the Honorable Minister is, in this circumstance that the ministry gave the contract to someone who does not have capacity to do the construction of a school block in my constituency, and now that he doesn't have resources to finish that school block, what will the ministry do to assist the people of my constituency so that the structure should be finished and our students should use it? The structure has been constructed at Nankuyu CDSS, and I'm tempted to say the contractor was given just because he is an MCP sympathizer. Yes, he's a former member of parliament for MCP. If you want me to talk about that, I'll talk about that. I submit, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Machinga East. Honorable Minister.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, for allowing me to take a supplementary question from the people of Machinga East. And let me thank you, Honorable Member for Machinga East, for your question to the Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education. The issue, Madam Speaker, is to do with a contract that is not performing. We have some contracts indeed in the ministry that are not performing, and it's unfortunate that sometimes these contractors who bring evidence, some sort of evidence on paper that shows that they are performers, and in other instances they would have performed, and we tend to use the history or the trends. It's unfortunate that this one is, like I said, that an unperforming one, and unfortunately, I do not have much information on this contractor, but to say that it's unfortunate that most of the actually indigenous contractors would be the ones that fall under this category when we actually would want to promote their businesses. Suffice to say, Madam Speaker, that most of the contracts that are not performing, we have gone through the Attorney General's office to get advice. Some of them are going to be cancelled so that we start again and continue with the works. And that's, I think, what I can say about now. And I'll get more information from the Honourable Member later so that I can actually zero in on the specifics of this particular contract in Machinga East constituency. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Very much, Honourable Minister. We now go to question 79, Nkatabe West.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, indeed, that question 79, is coming from people of Nkatabe West, to be specific, Kabunduli TA. Thank you.
Nkatabe West, Honourable Minister.
Madam Speaker, I would like to thank the Honourable Member of Parliament for Nkatabe West for his question, as well as yourself for allowing me to take the question to the Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education to finish the construction of a laboratory block at Chiteka Community Day Secondary School that commenced 7 years ago but was abandoned by the contractor. Madam Speaker, as I consistently highlighted, it is the policy of my ministry to ensure that every school is equipped with a minimum essential education infrastructure package, which includes laboratory block, library, ICT block, administration block, and teachers' houses, among other facilities, which most of schools do not have. That is why we have embarked on the upgrading of many schools, including Chiteka Community Day Secondary School, to enhance the quality of teaching and learning. Right Honourable Speaker, allow me at this juncture to inform the August House that construction works for a science laboratory library block at Chiteka Community Day Secondary School commenced in the year 2018, but stalled in 2019. The contractor had requested an increase in the contract price then, which has not been approved to date. Madam Speaker, I would like to bring to the Honourable Member's attention, as well as to the entire House, that since the project began in the year 2018, there has been a significant rise in the cost of construction materials. With this background, approving a price adjustment at this point would not be in government's best interest. As such, my ministry sought advice from the Attorney General's office regarding the termination of the contract and the possibility of retendering the remaining works. I'm pleased to report that the termination process is currently underway and the works will be retendered once all necessary procedures are completed. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Honourable Member. Honourable Minister. Honourable Member for Mangochi South and Mangochi West.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, for giving the people of Mangochi Southwest an opportunity to ask a supplementary question on a policy matter to the Minister of Basic and Secondary Education in this country. Considering that in particularly in my constituency, we have had problems to do with affordability of school fees, to the extent that we have a situation where out of, I would say maybe 4%, 5% of the people that finish primary school would proceed to go to secondary school. Even as they finish secondary school, the attrition rate is very high, to the extent that you normally get a few numbers. I wish I could give you exact figures, but particularly this affects the girl child, to the extent that we don't have many students, girl students, that would finish secondary school and go to the university. What would be the policy of the ministry under this government as regards free education, free secondary education, to ensure that students, particularly in my constituency, for Tumu Secondary School, Chiripa Secondary School, Takumana Secondary School, as well as Tsunami Secondary School, those people around these secondary schools and the students that are there can be assured of completion of their studies and eventually would be going to secondary school. The CDF, yes, we have used it, but it is not enough. We have a lot of balances, and even as we speak, some of the secondary school head teachers do actually send our students back home, and we struggle to actually send them back. So what is the policy of the ministry, particularly also of your government, regarding making secondary education free, so that, and this is in accordance with the Declaration on Free Education and also the Constitution of Malawi, where I've said that we needed to provide free education to our citizens. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honourable Member for Mangochi South West. Honourable Minister of Education.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. And let me also thank people of Mangochi West, Southwest, through their representative for a question to the Ministry of Education, which is a policy question in nature, and it is to do with the need for free secondary education. Madam Speaker, the Honourable Member did allude to the fact that he doesn't have the evidence as in the exact figures of the learners that do not proceed to secondary education because of lack of school fees. So he's concerned, and this is touching mostly on girls not attaining their full education because they lack school fees. Right Honourable Speaker, the issue of education is a right, but that right has also some responsibilities in a way. I just wanted to give some sort of a background to what has happened with free primary education, Madam Speaker. You see, as a country, we made primary education free in 1994. We have managed to get the big enrollments, a lot of learners in school. But that also, in turn, as much as it's been good, has also weakened the quality of education. And I just want to say that in as much as I, as a person, and I know as a government, would want to make sure that every child that's deserving is going to secondary school, as government, I don't think, and I'm answering mostly on from me, I don't think we have the resources if we are failing to even address some issues in the primary subsector, even in the secondary subsector, when fees is being paid, that we have the capacity to do that. But, and this is a government-wide, this would have to be a government-wide policy, not just the Minister of Education, because we would have to get the right resources commensurate with making sure that the fees are free. I'm sure that the government of Chakwera and MCP, if they have the resources and that time is there, and they can provide free primary school, the same is going to be done. But for now, we seriously cannot, because there are so many competing needs, not just in education, basic, secondary, even in kindergarten, or let's say early learning and university. We do not have those resources. And that's just education alone. If we go to agriculture, there are gaps there, the need for resources there. If we go to water, to health, there's need for resources there. The needs are competing, but it is a good question. And I know it's coming from a good heart, because I would also want to provide free secondary education to the learners of Malawi, so that they can get at least a minimum of 12 years for those that cannot even move on to university. But that stands to be something that as a country we can look into and together to find solutions for. I thank you, Right Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. I've seen Leader of Opposition, you wanted to ask a question? Because I had already recognized Mangoch West. You want to ask a question? Okay, that will do, well, I think that can only be done after we finish question time. Thank you. Mangochi West.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, for the opportunity to the people of Mangochi West to ask a supplementary question to the Minister of Basic Education and Secondary Education. Through you, Right Honorable Speaker, I would like to ask the Honorable Minister that due to the high demand of laboratories in our community-day secondary schools, can her ministry consider of coming up with an online laboratory application which can be installed in smartphones so that our students can access the services at their comfort homes? This would try to reduce the needs of laboratories in our secondary schools. Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, Madam.
Thank you, Mangochi West. Honorable Minister of Education.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, for allowing me to take a very pertinent supplementary question from the people of Mangochi West. And let me also ask Honorable Member, who's representing the people of Mangochi West, for the supplementary question. And the question is to my ministry. Really, he's talking about there's a high demand of science laboratories, and he is of the view if we have an application that can address the need for physical laboratories, we would mitigate the problems that arises from lack of of having the laboratories. And Madam Speaker, this is a very good question. Actually, I'm tempted to say that the Honourable Member has actually had a conversation with me on this application, and I think either himself or he knows someone who actually has an application for laboratories. But just to say quickly, Madam Speaker, that I'm actually very happy and pleased to announce to the House, but also to the Honourable Member, that in the Ministry of Education, through Mzuzu University, we have actually come up with an application called My Lab. And this one is being tested, and I think it's at an advanced level that any time we're actually going to roll it out and launch it in our secondary schools. So this is already at an advanced level, and soon we are actually indeed going to have these applications that are going to mitigate the problems that arise from not having science laboratories in our countries. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Chiradzulu South. Yeah, well, you were requesting to.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving the people of Chiradzulu South
to ask a supplementary question. The minister is not listening. Chirazo South would want to ask a supplementary question with regard to the strategy that the ministry has put in place, or the measures that has put in place for the teachers that were promoted, which is good, but as we speak now, their salaries have not changed. So they have not benefited I have teachers at Masuk Ochikanguru Primary School in my constituency. I have teachers in almost, I think maybe half of the primary school in Chirazo, in the Chirazo South that were promoted, but they have not yet benefited. So I want to find out from the minister, what have we put in place to ensure that these people that were promoted, they are able to benefit from the promotion. Secondly, Madam Speaker, I also wanted to find out the ministry on your side on the issue of teachers that have retired. Some of them are talking about 3-4 years. Actually, as I speak now, they are beggars. They cannot afford to have food on their table. They are not able even to pay school fees for their children. As we speak now, they are suffering. So can the ministry be advised, the August House, what's the measures, what have you put in place as a ministry to ensure that these people that have done a good job, that are training our children, some of them have even trained members of parliament that are here, that also they need to be able to live at least a decent. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Honourable Minister. Sorry, Honourable Member for Chiradzulu South.
I thought you
Honourable
were
Minister
prophesizing some
of Education.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. Let me also thank Honourable Member for Chiradzulu South for his question. He's asking if we have a strategy in the Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education for teachers that were promoted, but they are not yet to benefit. I would like to believe that you are talking of maybe not being on the new salary, because I'm not too sure what you mean by benefiting. I would like to think you mean the salaries. So in my assumption, Right Honourable Speaker, I would want to say after the teachers receive a promotion, it depends on the time, from the time they've received a promotion for either the council or the ministry to have to actually process the new grade so that they can be on the new salary. And I'm aware that there are, in some instances, I think problems that were experienced through the council, because in our primary schools, we have devolved the functions of the same through the council, where if there are challenges with data, some teachers would not have been receiving their new salaries in a timely manner. But the assurance, although this is not a good thing, is the fact that the arrears still accrue. So it's not like if you're not receiving the new salary now and then 3 months down the line and then you're missing out on the benefit, the arrears accrue. But this is something, it's a serious issue that really needs to be looked into to make sure that once teachers are promoted, they get the pay for the new grade in at least a reasonable amount of period. And I would want to get the specifics, Honourable Member for Chiradzulu South, just to make sure that we zero in into the issue, because as it is as a general issue, I may not really have much to address the issue on. And on the second issue, coming from Chiradzulu South again, it's an issue, I guess it's a concern that teachers sometimes retire and they do not get their benefits in time. The same issue I think it's something that applies across the board in the civil service. And this is an issue that we have been working tirelessly with the Minister of Finance to make sure that we clear the backlog that was there for civil servants that have retired so that they get their dues in a timely and acceptable manner. But I'll also go back to Ministry of Finance just to make sure that we are on track, because I know we even had a paper that is trying to address this through the Ministry of Finance to make sure that all civil servants are paid their dues on time and do not have to wait for years before they do so. I thank you, Right Honourable Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honourable Minister. We go to question 80, Balaka South.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I rise to confirm that question 80 indeed is coming from the people of Balaka South, especially Tienkai. Thank you, Madam.
Balaka South, Honourable Minister.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. And let me also thank my sister, representative for the people of Balaka South, for her question to the Ministry of the Basic and Secondary Education, which is to consider constructing a community secondary school at Nkaya. Learners around this area walk long distances to Utale Community Day Secondary School, and the roads become almost impassable during rainy seasons. Madam Speaker, let me begin by agreeing with the Honourable Member on the need for a Community Day Secondary School at Nkaya, as this will assist in reducing distance students travel to access secondary education at Utale Community Day Secondary School. Learners selected from Maduwani, Mute, Mbaza, as well as Chikubwa primary schools travel over 17 kilometers in order to access secondary education at Utale CDSS. As I have always said this is against my ministry's policy on distance students have to walk to and from school. In addition, such long distances expose learners, particularly girls, to a number of risks, such as abuse, exhaustion, and other dangers. Madam Speaker, I also concur with the Honourable Member that apart from the long distances, the roads in the area do indeed become impassable, almost impassable, once the rainy season begins. Furthermore, crossing Rivi River becomes almost impossible towards the end of term 1 and during term 2. Given this background, constructing a school at Nkaya would be a practical solution. Madam Speaker, if the school is constructed, the Community Day Secondary School will be fed by 4 feeder primary schools, namely Maduwani, Mote, Mbaza, and Chikubwa, thereby increasing access to secondary education in the area. However, Madam Speaker, my ministry has no immediate plans to construct a secondary school in the area for reasons. In addition, the Honourable Member's area recently benefited 2 schools from the pilot phase of the Secondary Education Expansion for Development SEED project, Njerenje and Mapu Community Day Secondary Schools. Having said this, Madam Speaker, let me request the Honourable Member to consider lobbying financial support from Balaka District Council through the Local Development Fund, LDF, or the governance to enable service delivery project JESSED. My ministry, through the Southeast Education Division, SEED, will provide technical support as regards designs and other aspects of the project. Madam Speaker, let me assure the Honourable Member that her request has been noted for future consideration. Thank you.
Very much. Honourable Member for Lower West, Mcheubanje, and then Mcheubanje.
Thank you very much, Right Honourable Speaker, for recognizing the people of Lower West to raise a supplementary question. Right Honourable Speaker, I want to find out through you from the Honourable Minister of Education whether within the ministry there is a deliberate policy to construct fully fledged conventional secondary schools in areas where we don't have any. Madam Speaker, Doha West is the only constituency that does not have a type of secondary school that we can see at the Madisi, we can see at Likuni or Lilongwe Girls. We need one, Madam Speaker. We have areas like Simbi, Samuel, and indeed including Mlengwe. They were earmarked for a similar project, but up to now we did not have any tangible response in terms of proper action to be taken so that we can start constructing these secondary schools. We already allocated land for the projects, and the minister is also aware that the feasibility study team visited these sites, but a report was produced. We were just waiting for the past 6 months. I thought we could consider either construct a secondary school at Mlengwe, somewhere, or Simbi. These are very, very strategic areas, Madam Speaker, within the constituency. And at one point, even the Honorable Minister had an opportunity to visit one of the sites where we conducted a development meeting with her, and I think she's aware that my group village headmen, especially group village headmen from Samuel, Simbi, and Manhimba, they are waiting for a response as they are within the chamber. They want to listen themselves direct from the Honorable Minister. I submit, Right Honorable Speaker. Thank you.
Honorable Minister of Education.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, for allowing me to take a supplementary question from the people of Doha West. And let me also thank the Honorable Member. Afumu wao alikonkono afuna mvere woka zimene akhala akupempha kwanthu namaphunziro. Madam Speaker, Honorable Member of Doha West wishes to find out if there's a ministry, if there's a policy in the ministry for construction of fully fledged, what he calls construction of fully fledged conventional secondary schools. And he claims, that's a claim according to me, that Doha West is the only constituency without it. That is only a claim, Honorable Member, because also in my constituency as well, there's no conventional secondary, what you call conventional secondary school. So what happens here is that back in the day, the secondary schools used to be demarcated for whatever reasons, Right Honorable Speaker. What we are trying to do to increase access to quality education now is to make sure that all the schools that are there, be it CDSS or whatever, is brought to the level of what is a conventional secondary school. The enhancements that we are doing in the community-based secondary schools through improving secondary education, through Equals Project, is a project that we've embarked on as a Ministry of Education through the government to make sure that all learners across the country get the same quality, get the same learning, get the same infrastructure, everything that goes into education that makes it meaningful, that gives it the quality. So what we are trying to do is now moving away from what's called conventional secondary schools, but to have secondary schools across the country, even in the rural, where their standards by and by are going to be enhanced, are going to be improved, are going to be made to the level of a regular secondary school. I just want to give an example of a community-day secondary school that I visited last week in up north, where just a community-day secondary school is able to send over 31 students to public university, just because they have some of the things that a regular secondary school has, meaning even a community-day secondary school has the capacity to do well, to improve performance, as long as they have enough teachers, enough infrastructure, everything that a conventional school has. So what we are doing now, Honorable Member, is to improve the community-day secondary schools, whatever secondary school, you name it, that's there, to make sure that it's at the level of a conventional secondary school. That way, we are also going to be equitable in distributing education across the country. And Honorable Member did go on to say that through the SEED project, there had been promised by the ministry that some places like Mlengwe, Samuel, or Simbi, which are very important, would indeed benefit from the seed project. It's unfortunate that, Right Honourable Member, that some of these places did not benefit, just like it is in many constituencies, because the project did not live to the tune of the figure of the secondary schools that well indicated. What we are working on in the ministry, Right Honourable Speaker, is to ensure that through our development partners, through the ministry itself, with the resources that we have, we must first of all look at the areas that were denied this opportunity, so that with the opportunities that are there, we can start addressing these issues. We can go there first before we can actually go to other areas, because these places were denied not by their doing, but they were, when the project was cut off prematurely, these areas did not benefit. So I would want to believe, and I would want to recommit and just to assure Honourable Member that in good time, and I hope soon enough, we will attend to them and do provide the secondary schools that they have not managed to benefit from the seed project. Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker.
Q Ncheu Bwanje. Is it Ncheu Bwanje South?
Chair Banji South.
South, yes, Ncheu Bwanje South.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker, for recognizing the people of Ncheu Bwanje South to ask a supplementary question to the Minister. Is the Minister aware that there are some teachers, after attending higher education, for example, from certificate to diploma, even for diploma to a certificate, they can work for so many years without being promoted and even being given new salaries despite working for more than 10 years. This sounds to be very peculiar, inquisitive, and agamanga. Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker.
Ncheu Bwanje South. Honourable Minister of Education. Yes, Honourable Minister.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker, for allowing me to take a supplementary question from the people of Bwanje South, of Ncheu Bwanje South, and also to appreciate the member for Ncheu Bwanje South for his supplementary question to the Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education on teachers who, after obtaining other qualifications, maybe a teacher that only had a certificate and they've upgraded to a degree level, will still remain on the same grade. Right Honourable Speaker, let me just begin by saying that it is good and very important that in everyone's career journey, they must always aim to grow, to develop themselves in civil service or in corporate world. But also just to say, the mere fact that someone has upgraded their qualifications does not automatically mean that somebody is going to get promoted or a new grade. Getting promoted requires that there should be spaces and there should be whatever it is that will mean someone can actually get promoted. But it is in the best of the government, it's in the best of my interests that the teachers that are actually working hard and making sure that they get promoted should be the ones that, now that we are going to be promoting a lot of teachers, also be considered first. But just to say that it's not always automatic that somebody gets new qualifications and they will be upgraded. But when the time promotions come, not to make a promise, we'll look at all these. These are some of the valuables that we are going to look into, including interviews, which are going to be meritorious to make sure that teachers are promoted in the right manner, not just promoting willy-nilly. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
I saw Commissioner Palombe. Are you saying, yeah, Palombe? Is it Palombe? Palombe South and Commissioner.
Thank you very much, Right Honourable Speaker, for according Palombe South to ask a supplementary question to the Minister of Basic and Secondary Education. My dearest Minister, I wanted to remind you about the promises that government, through the Speaker, the promise that you made with the people of Palombe. Palombe as a district and Palombe South in particular, about the state of the art secondary school. I don't know where we are. I don't know what to tell the people of Palombe, especially Group Village in Namangale in TA Namasoko, who gave his 10-hectare land free of charge for 5 years now. They haven't been cultivating on that land. It is reserved for School of Excellence. Could you please today come up with a concrete response to this so that I can take that message to the people of Palombe South, particularly Tia Namasoko and Group Village Namangari. I thank you, Right Honorable Speaker.
Member for Palombe South, Honorable Minister of Education. Oh, there's a point of order. Yes, Chisi South.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Today being a private members' day, I would like to make a motion that we curtail question time in order to allow members who actually ask the questions on under Standing Order 69, in order for them to ask the questions. We have Leader of Opposition and...
It's 14 and 69, so I think if it's the Leader of Opposition, it was 14.
Yeah.
Standing Order 14.
Standing Order 14, but question 69, is it? Yeah. Standing Order 14, so that they actually should be given responses by the responsible ministers. After that, we will have, as private members, we have exhausted what we had today, then we'll have an early adjournment. I submit, Madam Speaker. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I know there's a motion on the floor, but I had already recognized the Honorable Minister to respond to the question that was already on the floor. So immediately after the Minister's response, I'll give you space. We'll do the motion. Honorable Minister of Education.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, for allowing me to take, I think, what's going to be the last supplementary question for today, coming from the people of Palombe South, my dear mother, Commissioner, who wishes to remind me, although I don't need a reminder, because this thing is in the back of my mind, but she wishes to remind me on behalf of the people of TA Namasoko, Group Village Headman Namangale, where the group, the village headman allocated 10 hectares of land, and it's been just being there reserved for a school of excellence, which is a state-of-art secondary school. And she wishes to find out from my ministry when she's going to have this secondary education, or when the people of Palombe South will benefit from this. Right Honorable Speaker, this is a very good question, and I appreciate you, Commissioner, for asking it. Just to say that I do not have the actual date as to when the project will commence, but that all the assessments that were supposed to be done have been done, I'm told, and soon, once the resources are found for this state-of-the-art schools of excellence in Palombe South, you will see us coming to Palombe. And let me, in a special way, appreciate Amfumu, TA Namasiku, and Group Village Namangale for reserving and still having the patience to keep the 10 hectares for the schools of excellence. So please, when you go back, let them know that they should be patient, keep reserving the space. In good time, we shall be on site to start construction of the schools of excellence. I submit, Right Honourable Speaker.
Thank you, Honourable Minister. Honourable Member for Machinga East, I have to give you the floor after because we have a motion on the floor. Sorry? It's a point of order, yes, but remember there's a motion and I can't give you more space if there's a motion on the floor. It's just because, no, I had already made a decision to ask the Honourable Minister to respond to the question, but we have got a motion on the floor. So I'll give you space after we have disposed of the motion. Honourable members, I now put the question. The question is that we waive all relevant standing orders in order for us to curtail questions to ministers for oral reply and go to questions under standing order 14. Those of that opinion say aye. Those of the contrary view say no. The ayes have it and the motion is carried. Machinga East.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker. I am standing on a point of order, Madam Speaker. The point of order has been generated from the response from the Honourable Minister to the Honourable Member for Palombe, who was asking about the School of Excellence in her constituency, and when responding, the Honourable Minister indicated
but that would be unprocedural, Honourable.
No. My point of order, Madam, is coming from where the Minister indicated that when resources are available. So we wanted to know resources available from government or from partners, because if it is to do with the government, then we are discussing about the budget, then we have to allocate resources for the said project. That's where the point of order is coming from, because the minister was not clear whether the resources will be coming from development partners.
And understood, Honourable Member, but I think it is unprocedural for us to go back to that because immediately after her response, yes, I know you had the right to ask a supplementary question on the matter, but now we can't go back to the business of the questions at this point. So I'm sure the minister has taken note. At an appropriate time, I'll ask the Honourable Minister when she's responding to other questions, she bears in mind the question. Honourable Minister, procedurally, we can't go back to the Honourable Minister on questions to the Honourable Minister of Education. So we'll go straight to question understanding order 14, Honourable Leader of Opposition.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker, Madam, for giving my office to provide a question, to ask a question, understanding order 14. Right Honourable Speaker, Madam, my office had learned with great concern information that over 1 million plus Malawians who registered to vote are missing in the voters' roll. This is also evidenced by the absence of one of the commissioners and his wife, Mr. Francis Kasaira, from the voters' roll. Right Honourable Speaker, as you would appreciate, the right to take part in politics, which includes voting, is a well-protected right under the Bill of Rights. In particular, Section 40 of the Republic of Malawi Constitution provides one's right to participate in political activities. Madam Right Honourable Speaker, in addition, every Malawi has a right to freedom of expression as per the dictates of Section 35 of the Constitution. By extension, Malawians have the right to express their choice of leadership through the ballot box, and this must be done without impediments from anyone. Deleting a voter from the voters' roll is also a serious violation of the right to freedom of opinion, as voters have a right to express their opinions as regards performance and continuation of government through the ballot box. Malawians have registered in large numbers, and therefore it is important that they should be given a chance. We are therefore, Right Honorable Speaker, calling to receive an explanation on this omission. 1. 2, we are calling upon voter verification exercise throughout the country. Any Malawian who duly registers and does not find their names in the voters' roll must be immediately registered for them to vote. 3, it must also be known that any attempt to frustrate the elections and extend the time for the government to continue operating will not be tolerated. It remains a fact that the government legal mandate expires in September 2025 and will not allow the continuation of government beyond that stated period. Finally, Right Honorable Speaker, Madam, we are demanding an audit of the voters' roll. Thank you.
Very much, Honorable Leader of Opposition. Honorable members, according to Standing Order 14, we can debate, and then if the Honorable Minister responsible, who in this case is the Minister of Justice, can respond. I'm not seeing any takers. Oh, Honorable Member for, well, Honorable Minister, maybe before you respond, sorry, or you want the Minister to respond and then we can get the other? Then he can respond, there's no problem. Honorable Minister, I will recognize you, Machinga East, and the rest of them.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. And let me thank the Honorable
Can always come back
Leader of
and
Opposition,
respond to the others.
who is also a member for Mulanje Southwest, for his question. Madam Speaker, at this point, there is no need for alarm. What has been alleged, Madam Speaker, is something that emanates from rumors. And this House cannot debate matters based on a rumor. Madam Speaker, even if it were to be the case that some names are missing, the electoral process has in it, by law, several stages, some of which have not been undertaken yet. One of those, Madam Speaker, is the stage for inspection and cleaning up of the voters' register. Madam Speaker, it is not even for the first time that MEC has experienced a similar situation, even in the past. On the 11th of December 2018, the then chairperson, Justice Dr. Jane Asa, was faced with a similar situation. And she made a public statement similar to the one that MEC has made now. And the point to take home is that MEC remains and is committed to credibility and excellence of the process. In fact, in their statement, they've even said that the next stage will be a stage of inspection and verification and cleaning the register. As a matter of fact, a stage will come when MEC will meet all stakeholders, including political parties, to make sure they're on the same page in terms of the voters register. Madam Speaker, the name of Honorable Kasai actually mentioned, it may indeed be missing, but it is not lost. Because in the database, registration database, it is there. So all those names that may not be or maybe still missing will actually be, they will all come up because they are there in the database. Madam Speaker, I think that we should not beat drums that will cause alarm at this stage. The matter is under control, and there's no need for alarm. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Minister of Justice. I recognized Machinga East, and there's Zimba North.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker, for recognizing the people of Machinga East constituency to add their comment on the issue raised by the Honorable Leader of Opposition concerning the missing of some names in the MEC database. Madam Speaker, to start with, when MEC did their temporary voting exercise, political parties, we did ask that we would want to make sure that the database is clear and there is nothing within it, and we wanted the political parties as main stakeholders to participate. But unfortunately, MEC did not allow political parties to participate and see that the database is clear. Madam Speaker, we were just told that they have cleared the database. If indeed the database is clear after doing that temporary voting process, why was it very difficult for MEC to take all stakeholders like political parties who are key stakeholders in the elections to see and verify that indeed there is no information in the database? Madam Speaker, indeed, as the Leader of Opposition has said, some names are missing in the database. And the reason is that the machine could not transmit all the data. So as we are talking, Madam, we are hearing that they are trying to use manual forms and a lot of information. But here we are as political parties, as stakeholders, we would want to see and audit and make sure that the elections are clear of mismanagement and any other fraud. Madam Speaker, this is why the people of Machinga East constituency and the UDF, as the National Campaign Director of UDF, we demanded that we do not want to see or to hear systematic machines being near to the elections. If the elections are to be fair, we need to use the same way we used in the 2020 flash elections. Madam Speaker, the people of Machinga East, we know that Malawi Electoral Commission, they have the mandate to decide the final decision. But remember, I would want to remind them that MEC is there on behalf of Malawians. So whatever decisions they are going to take, it should be to the interest of Malawians and not to the interest of one quarter of this country, Madam Speaker. If the elections are to be free and fair, let us go manual. The systematic machine has failed. This is one of the examples of telling us that the systematic machine it cannot help us with the 16 September elections. And the UDF as a party, we are not going to allow Malawi Electoral Commission, as they are using taxpayers' money, as they are there constituted by this House, as they are there serving the interest of the people of Machinga East, they are not going to use it or to transmit their data using the systematic machine come 16 September 2025. With these few remarks, Madam, I would want to thank God for making it possible that one of the commissioners' name is missing within the database. Had it been that it was the people of Machinga East constituency speaking about this, you could have said that we are trying to politicize it. But now, within the make itself, names are being missing. If names of commissioners are missing in the database, how many Malawians are missing in the database? We want to take part as political parties, to take part and make sure that the audit has to be done, whether one likes or not. They are using taxpayers' money, and we are Malawians whom they are serving. I submit, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Machinga East. Honorable Government Chief Whip, you're rising. Yes. Yes, you have the floor.
Point of order, Madam Speaker. I wanted to know if debate under this standing order requires responses from party spokesperson.
Spokesperson, no. It's 5 minutes for any individual who wants to, any honorable member who wants to contribute.
All right. So I was wondering because the speaker who just resumed her seat seemed to have been speaking on behalf of the party.
Okay, no, everybody, it's in individual contribution, not as parties contribution, as we do with bills and other responses. Thank you. Yes, in Zimba North.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Most of the things have been raised already, but I have 3 or 4 issues. Madam Speaker, what is an anomaly is, why is it that most of the people who are missing in the database are from the southern region and the northern region? Because you see, you cannot produce a database and one region is missing and the other region is missing, but the other region is not complaining. There's something funny which is being done, Madam Speaker. Second thing, Madam Speaker, we can't be standing here preparing for elections and we cannot know when these people who are missing, they are going to verify their interest as their right to vote. Because the Minister of Justice should have provided an extended day when these people are going to verify their names, whether they're inside or they're outside. Madam Speaker, what we're doing, we're preparing for disaster. Malawi signed a charter under the African human rights to commit to free and fair elections. That charter mandates every individual, be it a Malawian or non-Malawian who is legitimate to vote, to have the right and access to information. We also have the access to information bill. Madam Speaker, we need to be allowed to verify every detail, election detail. We cannot live and pretend to be living that everything is okay. It's not okay. Madam Speaker, on the same note, let me take this opportunity. When we are going towards elections, arbitrary arrests in any election process infringes on the people's rights, and it scares people from their rights to vote because they don't have the freedoms which they can exercise to challenge a government. So if you do arbitrary arrests, especially political arrests, it is a recipe for disaster. And when those arrests, if those people you are arresting, they are coming out of the prisons or cells, Madam Speaker, you are preparing an election that is going to be criminalized. If it's not criminalized, the government will be held accountable for whatever happens. Because those you are building in minds of people, warlords or leaders who are going to be enshrined by pressure, comparing the elections to be done through the pressure from those people. Madam Speaker, I'm saying this, the arrest of the Vice President of DPP was irregular and inhuman. And that is happening at the material time when we are moving towards elections. And the police will be held accountable for this. Even the Inspector General of Police, when he was called, he didn't have answers, and why Gangata was arrested. That was irregular. I've just given that as an example. Very finally, Madam Speaker, Madam Speaker, it doesn't matter, but what you are doing is not proper. Madam Speaker, we are living in a democracy. Democracy is expensive, yes, but democracy must be guarded. But the first people to guard democracy, it is people who are within this house. And if we ask people who are within the house, we cannot listen to one another. We can even have members of parliament, their vehicles being raided on. and no insurance, no guarantees to what they're going to have, what is going to happen tomorrow. Even some of us are running away from this parliament. Madam Speaker, the status of democracy in Malawi is at stake. Madam Speaker, I will conclude by saying this. I'm appealing to Malawians, and I'm happy today for the first time. I don't agree with him, Shimwendo. Honorable Minister of Local Government and Unity, when you are calling on the DPP, that you and MCP will be held accountable. No, it's the peoples of Malawi. You are accountable to the people of Malawi. As a minister responsible for unity, you must take full responsibility of what is happening in this country. And it is you. You are a leader of the House, you are a Secretary General of the party, and if you are accusing the DPP, you must check what the MCP is doing. You are the people who are responsible for everything that is happening in this country. And we should not bite or hide behind something else. You spoke very well, but don't speak with another face, and you should not be double-faced. MCP is 100% responsible for what is happening in this country. The counter-accusations which you are trading are very good, but let us resolve and move in one spirit. Malawi needs peace, and Malawi needs unity. We are one. And as Alliance for Democracy, we will challenge the whole purpose of the...
Member, consider winding up. Honorable member, you need to know that
Madam Speaker,
some of the issues you're raising are not connected to the...
No, Madam Speaker, you are not supposed to
can
judge.
you please wind
Madam
up?
Speaker, you cannot judge what I'm saying. What the Minister of Unity raised this morning, it is also pertaining to the elections. Free and fair elections is a process. It's not a one-issue issue. Don't guide the people to stop on going to verify what is not in the register. Please allow all Malawians to register and see to it that their names are in the register so that they can vote freely and they can vote for the right choice. I am sure most Malawians want to vote. With these few remarks, Madam Speaker.
You've exhausted your time, Honorable Member.
Yes, Madam
You have exhausted your time, Zimba North.
With these few remarks, Madam Speaker, I am sure that most Malawians who want to vote for APM are in the register and are already included. Viva APM, I think you are going to be the next leader of this country. Thank you very much.
Honorable Leader of the House, you're rising.
Yes, I'm rising because in the morning as a Minister for National Unity, I spoke and I maintained what I said. And
Rumpi West, I've not recognized you. Rumpi East, please resume your seat.
The honorable member for
No, Rumpi East, resume your seat. No, Rumpi East, no. Rumpi East, resume your seat, please. Honorable member for Rumpi East, resume your seat. Please, resume your seat.
Honorable Speaker, what I spoke remains the fact that the two major political parties in the country has the right and the duty and obligation to stop violence in this country. And the two major political parties, number one is the Might MCP, and then after the Might MCP comes the DPP, because even in the numbers of members of parliament in the House will tell you which are the bigger parties. So when I say MCP and DPP, we have a duty to stop violence in this country. That's the duty, because even if you just look at where did the violence take place, you would find that DPP has been affected, MCP has been affected. If you go to Majinga, you go to Cholo, you go to Ndirande, you come here in Lilongwe, this is what we must do as members of parliament. So whosoever say that it's their right to open their mouth and we see that but the truth of the matter is that we all have a duty to end violence in this country, whether you are sitting there, sitting here. The matter that has been raised by Mulanje South, Honorable Speaker, if you check the MEC calendar is very clear. The whole reason why there is voter inspection, why people have to go and check if their names are there or not. It's what is in the calendar. There is nothing new.
And that's why the chair for
Member for Blantyre Southwest, you are saying he's responding for Meg. You expect Meg to come here and respond to you? Are you expecting Meg to come to respond? You have asked a question to government. Honorable leader, resume your seat. Resume your seat. You've asked, the leader of opposition has asked a question to government. Obviously, government is going to respond. Meg can't come here and respond to your question. It has to be government to respond to you. I don't think there's anything irregular about that. Thank you, Blantyre City Southwest. Yes, proceed, Honorable Leader.
Thank you so much, Honorable Speaker. What I'm saying is that if you check the MEC calendar, voter inspection, and actually they do announce, they do go in the villages, ask people, because this work was done by people, and if there is any error, it must be corrected. You will even remember that, as the Minister of Justice did allude to, the former chair of MEC did the same exercise and actually had to say that this issue, it's a process. And if you remember very well, the former late vice president, when he was about to vote, his name was actually missing. And then it was found in Likoma. And they said, no, the name is missing here, but it's in the database. After some time, they collected it. It's a process. Now, if MEC doesn't do this process, and people don't go and find out their mistakes, it means MEC is not doing a good job. Now, if MEC is doing this process so that you go and find your name is missing or it's there, it means it's the right thing to do. Actually, the voter inspection has yielded its result, that whether there are 11 names, whether there are 20 names, whether there are 30 names, those people must have the right, as alluded to the leader of opposition, every person has the right to vote. And it is in the law that there must be voter inspection. What is happening now is voter inspection. Time comes where all political parties are given the voters' law. When the voters' law is given to all political parties, this is why I'm going to say so and so is not there. For now, it's a process. And you cannot stop a process. Allow the process to take place. And there's nothing wrong for the leader of opposition to ask. It's also a process of verification. But let us not insinuate, as Nzimba North insinuated, nobody has seen the names, to say the names that are missing are from this region. These are what are called insinuations. Let's work with what is provided. Let's avoid rumors. By doing so, Madam Speaker, the country will not be alerted on issues which are not there. If issues are there, it must be dealt with. If they are not there, let's not create them. And if you feel you are president to win elections, that's why politics is there. I also feel Dr. Chagwera will win. You feel APM will win. That's okay. I feel Chagwera will win. And I do that every weekend. I don't need to come here and tell members of parliament that Dr. Chagwera will win. Because I know for sure he's going to win. And because he's going to win, why should I tell you that Dr. Chagwera will win? Dr. Chagwera will win. And why should I tell you? How does that concern you? How does that concern you? You are DPP. Are you sure going to be happy with the winning of Dr. Chagwera? No. I don't care whether Dr. Chagwera, to you would say will not win. He is going to win these elections. Thank you so much, Honorable Speaker.
Very much, Honorable Leader. Honorable Minister of Homeland Security. You want to...
Thank
Give
you.
you space, but the ministers are trying to respond to some of the issues that you have raised.
Thank you.
And I'm sure it is in our interest.
Thank you.
Yes, immediately after Minister, I'll give you time. Proceed, Honorable Minister. Proceed.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I have stood to react, or should I say, on point of order regarding to what the Honorable Member...
Can we have order so that we can... Honorable members, order please. Mangochi Southwest, order. Southwest, order please.
I have stood on point of order, Right Honorable Speaker, regarding to what Honorable Member for Nzimba North said in this House. Right Honorable Speaker, I've been in this House for the past 15 years, and I know that it's a tradition in this House, and also it's in our standing orders not to discuss issues that are before the court of law. And Honorable Member from Zimba North stood in this House to discuss issues that are currently before the court of law. Having said that, Honorable Speaker, can I ask the Honorable Member from Zimba South, Zimba North, to withdraw the comment that he made that are before the court of law. If Honorable Suleiman is not in the know, he should read our standing orders and the traditions of this House. Any issue, Right Honorable Speaker, any issue that is before the court of law is never discussed in this House, and it is sub judice. Honorable Speaker, I submit. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister of Homeland Security. Indeed, the matter that was raised by Zimba North, it's an issue that is under the courts, and according to our own standing orders, we're not supposed to discuss any issues that are in court. So indeed, he was out of order, Honorable Member for Zimba North. Thank you. I did recognize, Honorable Member, let us give space to everybody, please. Honorable Member, please. Yes, Honorable Member for Mangochi South, Zombali Sanjara, and then Dedza North. Dedza South, sorry. But let us also give a chance to our colleagues to also get a chance to discuss issues. Please. Please, Honorable Member from Zimba North, please.
Madam Speaker, thank you very much for... Madam Speaker, thank you very much for giving the people of Mangochi Southwest to add their voice on this motion. It's really sad, disheartening, that we have an electoral system that is prone to disenfranchising a certain sector of the voters in this country. What is disheartening is the allegation, and I hope that the ministry responsible will come up with a comprehensive report to pall away the allegation of 1 million voters. It's very, very important. Yesterday, I was privileged, Madam Speaker, to chat with the MEC commissioner representing my Congress party, and the revelations that came from there pertain to the issues of this nature, where it was said in my face that come what may, DPP is losing. And I asked him, have you already voted? And he said he had already voted. The system has already voted. That is why I stand in this House to demand and support those that are calling for an ICT audit. A system of this nature, which is based on online, it has got servers, it has got EMDs and so forth, it requires that somebody else, independent, not us. Imagine here, we have problems with operating these equipments here. These things we are struggling to operate them. What more with a system of that nature, the mathematics? So, we would want to submit that allow independent ICT auditors. And when you are procuring those independent ICT orders, involve all the stakeholders in the electoral process. This is not too much to ask. We all want to have credible elections in this country. The one who is going to be declared a winner should be a winner that people have voted for that person. legitimately. So this is mathematics. We have always said, let's go to manual system. Voting, each one of us is voted through manual. President Chakwera became president because of the same manual system. Why do we seem to be afraid of the manual system now? Do we say that we have acquired enough skills to operate ICT equipment that side? No. So, Madam Speaker, through your office, and I know that you love Malawi so much, you don't want Malawi to bend. What we see in this country, I've been in this country, I've never studied elsewhere. I've started from here, standard one up to university in this country. What we are seeing now is not what we saw, what I saw during my life in this country. I think all of us do have these good memories about how we have grown in this country. We don't want an election where people are being hacked. We don't want that. And I would want to agree with you, support you, Honorable Jimendo, when you say we need to take action on it. It is very important. Any meaningful Malawian must take action about stopping violence. And it seems to Mangochi Southwest that there is an organized plan. One is to do with this mathematics, to disenfranchise people. Another way of disenfranchising people is to release panga, well, the panga men in society, on the street, and begin to threaten other people.
Point of order.
Can I be protected?
Can
I be protected?
Can you just conclude because your time is already finished? I'll give you time.
I'm concluding.
Yes, your time is
I
already
would want
gone.
to extend my appeal to the director of youth in the My Congress Party. He is a youthful man. He must do things properly. He should resist the temptation to go in history, to be a national director of youth who is going to overseeing violence like the way it is. And to Honorable Jimwendo, you are the Secretary General of My Congress Party. In fact, you are the CEO. You can do better. And you, the Honorable Minister of Homeland Security, you can also do better. You are a good man. Why are you not commanding your police officers to arrest these people? Why are these police officers now become watchers and bystanders, after looking at people being hacked without any action? No, this is a good country for us. We don't have any other country. This is our country. We can do better, honorable members. Even here at the Parliament, Madam Speaker, we are not safe. Civil servants are being hacked.
Time, Mangochi Southwest. Time.
So I'm concluding. I am concluding, Madam Speaker, and I'm saying, I'm appealing to your office. Through your office, get the other arms of government involved in arresting violence. We need to come back here this year, after 16 September, but we must make sure that we don't come back here with scars, and some of us maybe no legs, no arms. We need to make sure that we come here safe. I rest my case. Thank you very much, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Mangochi Southwest. There's the Honorable Deputy Minister who was reflected, and there's a Minister of, yes, Honorable Deputy Minister of Transport.
Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you, Your Honor, the Speaker of Parliament. Indeed, I've been reflected, and I would like to put it on record that even last sitting, on the last day, I was also reflected, and I would like to assure the nation that many times when I've conducted public rallies, and I've extended many times an olive branch, I've also invited so many times colleagues from different from that side to sit down on a table and discuss. And there was an issue even when we had a rally in your constituency. I gave an assurance to the people from DPP when they had their rally at in Mzuzu at Katoto Freedom Park. So from this side, I've walked a talk. Many times when I had to give a proper passage,
There's a clip which I was in charge of the youth when we were having a parade. The supporters, when they're coming from Kalonga, when they're coming from Rump and Chitipa, when we were having a parade of about 6,000 youths in the north, we gave them a proper passage, and not even one was attacked. And there's a clip which we can play in this house for the nation to see. And at their rally, they had said a lot of things, an attack. And I would like to assure you, Your Honor, the Speaker, that from this side, and as I was nurtured growing up as a peaceful, loving Malawian, I've many times reached out to so many people who are seated that side. And I would like to assure them that going forward, no matter what, I'll make sure that I preserve my integrity as a father, as a director of youth of Malawi Congress Party, and as someone who has seen different levels of violence across. No, we will not touch on the issue about academics, but I would like to assure you that it's not a long time when I had reached out. I want to put this on record, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I would like to put this on record. When Honorable Mulanje Bale had talked about violence, I reached out to him, and we talked as brothers. I reached out, and I've reached out to so many young Malawians, because I know this nation is bigger than any other politician who is seated in this room. We have our children and their children who are supposed to inherit a better Malawi, not a Malawi which is well known by violence, because these violence acts is something that has been passed on from generation to generation, from one political leadership to the other. During UDF time, there were a lot of bad things. And it came to the time when DPP came in, there were a lot of bad things. I will never, at any given point in time, as long as I remain a director of youth for the Mighty Malawi Congress Party, sit down anywhere to plan evil acts against anyone, be it someone in opposition, be it someone in any political party. So I would like to assure everyone, even when the youth were attacked, when the DPP had a rally in Mchinji, when someone was attacked, a member of this house, I actually reached out as a person to Honorable from Cholo, and he's here. I've time and again reached out to so many people, but there's one person who went overboard to the extent of saying that Baba was somewhere planning to kill someone, a fellow member of parliament. That thing, it chilled my soul, and it keeps disturbing me. And every time, every opportunity, a member from Blantyre, Honorable Suleiman, every opportune time that he finds, he tries to attack me in any forum. Even in this house this morning, he did the same. But I know.
I'll give you space after.
I know. Madam Speaker, I know. He's trying to be relevant, because there was a time he was a Chola boy for Honorable Nkuma. Now, because that time is there, it has come to an end. He's trying to gain political mileage and relevance and be seen as someone who is so close to APM. And he was a Chola boy for a fellow MP in opposition. But he wants to claim relevance. But I'll never sing solo, because in my academic experience, I don't believe in attacking someone who doesn't even have an MSc. That I'll never do.
Honorable Deputy Minister, your time is up.
Madam Speaker, let me wind up by this. In my life, I will never attack anyone who doesn't have an MSc, because I believe education is an investment. It's not a consumption. If he has failed to invest in education, that's not my problem, and it shall never be my problem. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Mr. Honorable Deputy Minister. Yes, Honorable Member for Blantyre City Southwest. You were deflected, so I know you want to respond. No, but let's start with Blantyre City Southwest.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, the
The honorable member that just resumed his seat is a director of youth from Malawi Congress Party. Madam Speaker, if he claims in here that he doesn't know these boys, then he's doing a bad job at his party. He needs to be fired. As a director of youth, we have video clips that were played here that has boys that he commands. In fact, yesterday, he was meeting the boys outside Parliament and sending them to attack civil servants. Madam Speaker, civil servants were attacked yesterday by his command. He must not stand here to be a saint. Madam Speaker, violence is increasing after he has taken over the position he's holding now. Before, MCP was okay. After he came there, Madam Speaker, all we are seeing is Zikwanje and Panga knives. What kind of a leader is he? He must tell us. He's failed his duty. Banasiji from MCP, you need to fire him. He's going to spoil the image of Malawi Congress Party with his tactics. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Honorable members, can we stop reflecting on each other? Let's stop reflecting on each other, honorable members. Please, please. Honorable members, I did recognize Nchisi South before. Can we please? I did recognize Nchisi South before.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, and let me thank you for giving Chisi South once again a chance to stand on point of order. Today being Private Members' Day, and at the beginning, I actually requested that we waive all standing orders in order to let those who had questions on under Standing Order 14 do so. They have done so. They've had responses from our good ministers, and the responses have been clear. And I do feel that debate on the responses by the minister and the questions under Standing Order 14 be curtailed. And in my motion, I also indicated that we do early adjournment because as backbenchers, we have exhausted today's business. I beg to move.
Thank you, honorable member for Nchisi South. Just to put on record that I did recognize Zombali Sanjara and Dedza South before the motion. Sorry? Well, I was just asking a favor from the honorable if you would accept. So we should proceed. I did recognize them already. I did say that they will speak. So, honorable member for Nchisi South, I was asking for your favor. Before you brought in the motion, I had recognized Zombali Sanjara and no. Honorable member for Blantyre City South. If you go by the rules, there's a motion, it means everything has to stop. That is the rule. But I'm just reminding the House that before he brought in the motion, I had recognized him. So at least it's up to him to decide, so, okay, you can wait. But if he doesn't, then I have to proceed. I have not taken a motion, yes, but there's a motion that has been presented. I'm sure you know that's how we proceed. And that's why I'm just asking him to say I had recognized Zombali Sanjara and Dedza South. Please. Honorable member, how could I know that Chisi South is bringing a motion? How do I know? No. There was no way honorable member asked for a point of order. And there was no way I could know what he wanted to speak. Member for Nchisi South. Yes, Nchisi South.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. The South has already withdrawn, and then since the motion is a motion, Madam Speaker, I stand by what I've said and let the House decide on the motion.
Thank
I
you.
submit, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. Honorable members, I now put the question. The
Yes.
question is that debate on the matter as raised by Honorable Leader of Opposition under Standing Order 14 be curtailed. Honorable members, I now put the question. The question is that debate on the Standing Order 14 as presented by Honorable Leader of Opposition be curtailed. Those of that opinion say aye. Those of the contrary view say no. Honorable members, the ayes have it and the motion is defeated. One division granted. Sergeant at arms. Address me if it's a withdrawal of a motion, but otherwise we are in division. Cannot be withdrawn by them, but their earlier motion, in case they want to withdraw it, can be withdrawn, but not the division.
You know, I'm not a backbencher today, but on behalf of my leader, because of the nature of the person who is about to speak, we could allow one person. Let's allow Honorable Seswere. Hey, Madam, my members have said no.
Honorable members, can I have order? Clerks at the table, remember nowadays we're voting electronically. Can you please give them the platform for them to vote? Yes, those that are not members of parliament, cabinet ministers who are not members of parliament, please do not attempt to vote. Don't, please. Do not attempt to vote. I'll be able to see from here, and if any minister who is not an MP votes, that is going to be a serious matter. So no minister who is not an MP cannot vote. Thank you. From my system, don't worry, I'll be able to see. Members, just a few minutes. We're just trying to get our technician to help. Opposition whip. Unless if it's a withdrawal of a motion, you're not allowed to, I can't recognize you, but we're in division. Sorry?
I'm very knowledgeable.
You what?
I'm very knowledgeable. I am knowledgeable, so I know what I'm doing here. Madam Speaker, we on this side would like to withdraw the division so that we allow, because I saw the leader of the House asking me, what are we fighting for? So we would like to withdraw the division to enable that we conclude business of the day. I thank you very much, Madam.
Thank you very much. Honorable members, the division has been withdrawn. Honorable members, honorable member for Rumpi East, honorable member for Rumpi East, you were complaining that I haven't been recognizing you, but today I've given you, I think, a chance twice to speak on the floor. There's no way I can give every member time to speak on every matter that is raised on the floor. But just today, I was checking with the records with the clerks. I've given you space to speak in the House. Thank you. Actually, 3 times just today. Honorable members, just as we had an earlier motion that after the standing order 14 there will be adjournment. But before we do adjournment, Honorable Leader of the House, guidance, please.
Madam Speaker, the first guidance is that from here we all go and support the frames. That's the first guidance. I would like to be joined by Honorable Jabonda, Honorable Jabi. Of course, Honorable Jabi is a sportsman. For the first time, I'd like to be joined by Honorable Manam Vega. Have to join me and watch the frames playing. Of course, Mulanje Bari will be there by all the time is there. So it has been a good day today. Lana, thank you in the manner you chaired proceedings. It has been a day where members of parliament have been able to deliberate on important matters affecting our country. And tomorrow, Friday, we shall start with questions. After questions, Madam, we'll go immediately to the budget debate. And therefore, members should be ready to make their budget presentation. I wish you a good evening and may God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Leader of the House. Honorable members, today we said it's a happy day, so I hope we have finished on a happy note. I know people are being invited for football. The leader has not invited me, but the Honorable Minister of Sports invited me. But you know, with us honorable members, we always find out, that is usually the question from us as honorable members, asking the Honorable Minister of Sports. Honorable members, before I adjourn the House, I would like to welcome visitors who are in the visitors gallery. We have visitors from Dowa West. These are senior group and group village headmen coming from Honorable Dr. Abel Kayembe MP, and they are 73 in number. They are coming to observe proceedings. Mafumu mwachoka ku Dowa West, ma senior group ndi ma village headman kuchokera kwa MP akayembe imirirani tikulandireni. Takulandirani ku nyumba yanu ya malamulo. Mungathe kukhala mafumu athu zikomo kwambiri fa chobwera. Honorable members, it is 8 minutes past 4. I now adjourn the House to tomorrow 9:30 a.m. House adjourned.